Wounds, available on Netflix now. An absolute mess of a thriller, horror, whatever the film is. It stars Armie Hammer, known mostly for being incredibly charismatic in Call Me By Your Name, and Dakota Johnson, known mostly for being as charismatic as a table in the 50 Shades of Grey series. So Hammer plays Will, a bartender at the shithole place in New Orleans. He's a deadbeat college dropout, spending his days drinking beer, playing video games, and working the bar. He's got no plans in life, no ambitions, no dreams. One night, after a bar brawl, he finds a mobile phone left there by one of the people, and back at home, he manages to unlock the phone and text the latest number on the conversation list that he's got the phone. And then he starts receiving weird text messages from various numbers. Then he starts receiving phone calls, seeing and hearing things. He discovers gruesome photos and recordings on the phone. There are more and more cockroaches appearing at the bar in his house, and people in his life also start acting differently, including his girlfriend Carrie, played by Dakota Johnson. And I do have to highlight this performance for being the absolutely most wooden thing that I have seen in years. Johnson does not act in this film. She just is in it, reciting all her lines with the same intonation. No emotion in her voice or face, no physical acting, no anything. She just looks bored and disinterested, and each time she says something, I wanted Will to just smack her in the face for being such a lifeless fucking mannequin. Although I have to say, it does make for some wildly entertaining moments, because a lot of the scenes between Will and Carrie are supposed to be tense or even heated, but with Dakota's dead look and dispassionate voice, they are instead unintentionally hilarious. I thought of another film while watching Wounds, and sit down for this one, because that film is The Room by Tommy Wiseau, possibly the worst film ever created, the anti-movie. So if an actor's performance makes me think of that, well, it's not very good. In Dakota's half-hearted defense, though, she does not have a lot to work with, because the script is bloody awful. The dialogue is uninspired, boring, and at times nonsensical. It just makes you scratch your head and at what you're watching. Then there's the actual storyline, which just, man alive, what is this mess? There is Will becoming more and more frustrated with his shitty life. There is the phone and the kids that left it at the bar, which kind of keep appearing throughout the film. There is mention of weird otherworldly rituals and portals to hellish dimensions, a la Event Horizon. There are the titular wounds that Armie Hammer has around his armpits, which basically are only shown once and never again explained. There are the cockroaches, which keep showing up throughout the film and have seemingly no connection to the rest of it. There are weird photos appearing on the lost phone, but also then being sent from Carrie to Will. Now, you're probably asking, okay, how is this all tied together? What is this movie even about? And God, I wish I could tell you. It's like it tries to start several different subplots. Each of them is pretty awful in its own right, and then they are mixed together but not actually connected in a meaningful way. To make an analogy, it's like trying to prepare dinner but only having rotten eggs, molded bread, spoiled milk, and dirt. And you throw all of that into a pot and cook it for a while. And the result is going to be pretty dogshit. As is the film. It's painful to watch. It's not long, it lasts only an hour and a half, but it felt like I was several years older when I finished it. It drags impossibly due to the fact that it is not engaging, not interesting, and devoid of any tension whatsoever, which you kind of need in a thriller or horror. You may then think that I was glad when it was over, but I was actually infuriated because the very last scene, it looks like something is finally going to start to happen. Something is maybe going to be made clear or explained. And then the movie just cuts to black very abruptly in the middle of the scene. So you're left wondering what the actual fuck you've just watched and why was it so pointless. And then you realize you've wasted 90 minutes of your life that you cannot ever get back. Stay away from this god-awful piece of trash.